Hey, what's up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. Absolute insanity in Regional 1 Day 3 for North America. We're going to be breaking down what happened, calling all the action, as well as what to look forward to in tomorrow's videos. But before we get into that, as always, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, drop those down below. And while you're down there, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as making sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. But with that said, let's get straight into the video. So we're going to break this down in two parts. We're going to do the winners bracket and then the lower bracket. We're going to start with winner bracket quarterfinals, work our way down, jump to the semifinals, and then get into who's in the winner final, discuss a little bit. Then we'll drop down to the lowers, and then we're going to talk about how all those things played out as well. Things to look forward to in the final day, which will be today, technically, when this video comes out. We'll be doing a watch party, most likely. I have plans to go get sushi and get drinks and play board games and stuff tonight, so we'll see if I stream tomorrow. Twitch.tv/Lawler, link in the description. You guys showed out in waves yesterday. A lot of people who hung out on the watch party, which I do greatly appreciate. Thanks for coming and hanging out. But yeah, that's the plan. We'll probably do a watch party tomorrow, or today technically, depending on how I'm feeling or how hungover I am. But we'll go from there. So let's start right away. Don't want to draw this one out too much. Some of these videos have been getting pretty long. But starting off, Winners Quarterfinals is going to be version 1 versus Rogue. And obviously, you guys know a cast for version 1 and a lot of expectations. Team looking good. Big upset against Space Station to get to this point. And Rogue, at the same time, new teammate with Taroko, and version 1 with new teammate of Com. Looking at both of these, the difficulty for version 1 is they came in very cold. It looked like this entire series, they just were not readied whatsoever. I don't know if the team just woke up and then played their match immediately, or if they had scrims beforehand, or what the situation is. They looked extremely flat. Rogue kept them to 1 goal. In game 1, it was super close. 51 seconds for an overtime, but version 1 never looked like they had a chance in this series. And it's really tough to say because I do think there's a lot of potential for version 1. So for them to get to this moment, a game I honestly think they can win. I think they have a chance here against Rogue, and they just fall flat and look absolutely abysmal. I don't think Rogue did anything too spectacular in this series personally. And maybe that's just me being on the bias side of version 1, but I didn't see Rogue doing any one thing that was like, yep, this is why they're winning. I will say, though, Rogue did have a lot of urgency. They played very quick to the ball, and that does carry through for the rest of the day for them. But Rogue definitely looked like they were there to play. They looked like they were better prepared for the situation. And I don't know if version 1 was riding the high of last week or whatever kind of speculation we want to provide. But they just did not look prepared for this match, and there's not a whole lot to it. We then drop down to the next winner quarterfinal, G2 versus E United. And another sweep, 3-0 in favor of G2, but 2-0 game 1, 3-2 in game 2 with a 15-second overtime, and then 1-0 in game 3. E United definitely looking a lot better. This is a team that a lot of respect being given to Mike and the capabilities that he had. Tristan kept E United in this series pretty well, but it was kind of weird to watch this series develop between both sides. There was much to be desired. But the big difference was G2's offense. Again, some of these games, they were averaging like 18 shots a game. It was absolutely incredible. Just like Top Looks yesterday, G2 does some really exciting things with their offense, and it's always keeping that other team guessing. The ability to work the field with a pass play inside, or it's a back pass to the guy who's sitting at the top of the box, or maybe it's a solo play. They do keep you guessing on defense, and it's very difficult. They also were really smart with their challenges and the ability to come out. A little bit of accuracy issues here and there, but those things do get cleaned up. It makes for a really good looking G2 as they go into the semifinals. Up next, we had Ghost Gaming versus Alpine. This is the one that I wasn't sure how it was going to play out. Wasn't exactly sure what Ghost was going to show up, and Alpine hadn't really been challenged just yet. So what do we get? And Ghost Gaming, this Mektos pickup is looking to be a fantastic one. 2 overtimes, 1 in game 1 and 1 in game 3. 3-2 and then 5-2 for Alpine. Then 3-2 again. Overtimes, both going in favor of Ghost. And then 3-0 and shutting them out. Ghost Gaming looking like the real deal with Mektos. I wasn't exactly sure what version of Ghost Gaming was going to show up, but right out the gate, man, they look ready to play. This new team is very promising, and that's why power rankings this week are going to suck. I'm going to try and do them. I don't think it's going to be possible, but Ghost Gaming, man, I didn't know exactly what kind of version of you was going to show up, but it doesn't seem to be a fluke. A lot of teams, and I talked about this a lot on stream yesterday, was not only are there a lot of teams making roster changes to make sure that they can level up their play and kind of get back into that top 6 conversation for the World Championship in hopefully summer, but also you have all the teams that haven't made changes having to adjust to a different looking version. Obviously, version 1 and Rogue are both new rosters. You see G2 playing E United, a little bit more resemblance there. You look at Alpine. Alpine didn't make a change. Ghost did. Ghost looks completely different than what the Ghost used to look like when they were with Luke. So there is some changes that are happening here that are very difficult for teams to adjust to. So not only is it teams trying to adjust and get used to their new teammate, but you also have the old teams also trying to figure out what style, what approach, what kind of play style is coming outside of scrims. Because scrims and playing in a live environment with money on the line is totally different. Some teams play a little bit more passive, a little bit more defensive from what you're used to, and the same things don't always work. So Ghost versus Alpine, Ghost gaming looked really dang good, and I'm excited to see them continue to progress. After that, we then had Team Envy versus Pittsburgh Knights, and this one was interesting because Pittsburgh Knights looks like a really good team, a really competitive team. They come out the gate starting 2-1 against Envy, and at that point, I was just like, all right, we'll see how this one goes. And Envy ended up started kind of crawling back. This looks like a really good looking Envy team where everybody's getting involved. Turbo still being confident enough to move up. Couple things I pointed out with the ability to, when they have a third man, they're not afraid to move into position to take that shot because they have full confidence in their teammate that's going to drop back and be in that rotation. Atomic has been hitting some banger goals. But again, a lot of focus on Sosa and ZPS still on the PK side. They did not disappoint today, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But Team Envy just looking like the better team, the more complete team, as PK still tries to figure their stuff out. There's a reason why Envy is considered one of the big four, or the top four, whatever you want to call them. But very solid performance there from Envy to start their day. We then go into the winter semifinals. We're going to start with Rogue versus G2. And this one was interesting. It's 4-1 in favor of Rogue with 2 overtimes. And a lot of this was actually closer than people think. Even though Rogue does win 4-1, G2 pretty much could have won this series, except for some pretty big mistakes. There was a time where Rizzo went for a clear off the ceiling. He had a really good read where the ball hit the ceiling, and it looked like it would have been a ceiling pinch. And if he does connect with it, that I think pinches down to the other person's team or the other team's net and is at least a rebound waiting to happen for G2. So there's one mistake there. In the next game, it immediately starts with JNaps, and he own goals it. It looks like he wants to clear it far corner, and it ends up redirecting back into his own net. He just doesn't get around it enough. So it's like 2 back-to-back mistakes, but you look across the board, like how the results were going, and G2 and Rogue were neck and neck. I mean, you're talking 3-2 game 1, 3-2 game 2. Rogue then shut them out off of the mistake. So JNaps has the mistake as goal 1, and then goal 2 is first killer with a really good shot from an infield pass. And you're like, might have to wrap this one up. If G2 doesn't bounce back immediately, they don't get the goal. Then they come out in game number 4 and have a really good result. It's like, okay, we'll get a series. And then again, another 1-goal game. So mistakes plaguing G2, and that's part of the reason for the loss of this series. Even though they put up a really solid performance and the game was super close, I think this is more credit to Rogue than it is difference to G2. I think G2 played a really good series, but the fact that Rogue, who has notoriously performed very poorly against G2, partially because of the JNaps Kronovi scenario and stuff like that, Rogue comes out to play. Taroko's been a fantastic addition and just super urgent to the ball. Minimal mistakes, stellar defense. A lot of teams having really good defense, primarily Pittsburgh Knights, and we'll get to them next. But man, really good defense from Rogue, minimal mistakes, and then just punishing on offense. A lot of really good urgency, straight to the impact of the play, trying to cut things off before they develop in the first place. And despite that, G2 still putting up a lot of goals. So both teams really, really good series. I know it's 4-1, but definitely go back and watch it. It was very entertaining. Also in an entertaining match is the other semifinal. We got Ghost Gaming versus Envy, and this one a nail biter. Back and forth to the fullest degree. You've got Envy and Ghost going all the way to 7 with 2 overtimes. Honestly, you can talk about just trading goals. These teams both were battling a lot of individual solo plays, a lot of team play. And again, similar to the Rogue regard for Ghost, where both teams perform very well. But Ghost, the fact that they're even in consideration to bring Envy to 7 is not something you would have saw in the fall split. In the fall split, this would be, in my opinion, an easy 4-0 Envy or 4-1 Envy without any thought to it. But the fact that Ghost is bringing them all the way to 7, multiple overtimes, which Envy won both of those, is pretty crazy. So not too crazy of a result for like high scoring games. The most goals you got in one game was from Envy in game number 4 with 4 goals. Other than that, it was pretty much 2-1 or 2-0 or something in that area. So yeah, really low scoring, which is pretty much how Envy plays. They keep it close. But man, what a series. Both these semifinals, like all day today. I can't talk about the insanity of what went down for Rocket League in yesterday's matches. When this video comes out, it'll be yesterday. But man, what a day. If you miss any of these series, seriously, go back and pick one. It doesn't really matter. And we haven't even gotten to the spicy ones yet. Because of Envy's victory then in the winners finals, which will be tomorrow, will be Rogue versus Envy. We'll talk about that stuff at the end of the video. Jumping down to the lower bracket, we started with lower round 3. We've got E United versus Energy, and this is a tough one for E United. Another really close series. This is the one that we were curious on what was going to play out. They ended up winning 2 overtimes, game 1 and game 2, overtimes in favor of United. They had a 2-minute 20-second and then a 21-second overtime. And you're like, all right, you guys are on match point. It's going to be up to Energy to reverse sweep. And it goes 3-2, 2-1, and then 3-2. So 1-goal games every single time for United, and they get reverse swept and Energy stays alive. If you guys didn't see Garrett's tweet, he talks about, like, I have no idea how we're still alive. Very commendable tweet from Garrett, recognizing the situation they're in. And that's not all, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But man, United, again, another team against the top dogs. Energy didn't look like Energy in the series. I will point that out. Energy looked a little bit flat. But United, man, making them work for it. A lot of respect from Garrett given over in his interview to Mike, and rightfully so. Guys playing really well. Tough series from them. We then drop down to the next losers round 3 match, which is version 1 versus Kansas City Pioneers. Also going the distance to 5. Spoiler alert, every single losers round 3 match went to 5. It was wild today. So version 1 versus Kansas City Pioneers. Kansas City Pioneers starts out. V1, a team that normally really struggles against a team like Kansas City Pioneers, that fast, aggressive, chaotic style. Version 1 battles back against. A lot of credit to the team. They have a really tough loss against Rogue. They look absolutely terrible, if I'm being honest. But against Kansas City Pioneers, you finally start to see this offense come into play. Stuff like Calm and Gimmick both taking some time to slow it down and dribble it out rather than just booming it downfield. Focus on the possession and the creativity with the offense, and things start clicking, and then they close it out in 5. So really fun and series in this one. Some exciting moments for sure, but man, version 1, an exciting team to watch. I do think they're extremely underrated still. But man, to push through Kansas City Pioneers, a team that normally plagues them, big credit to them. Foundation that they're building upon, and a lot to still learn for this team. So Calm being a great addition. Find ways to get him involved, and then the rest will follow suit, because man, is he a high impact player. We then get to Pittsburgh Knights versus Space Station Gaming. PK ends up going down 0-2. It's 3-2 in favor of SSG, 1-0 in favor of SSG, 2 1-goal games. And then PK decides to not only reverse sweep, but do it in perfect fashion with a shutout. 15 to 17 minutes of making sure Space Station cannot score a goal. I don't know how they do it, but this PK team is resilient. Sosa is a fantastic addition. PK, mark my words, looking like a top 6 team in the region. They are very lethal, and they do not know how to give up. It is unbelievable the level of what they have done with Sosa's addition. Nothing against Kinsey by any means. I hope he finds something after he takes his break and kind of figures stuff out. But man, Sosa has slotted into this team perfectly. They look absolutely phenomenal in this series. And the bigger one, too, is when you're a younger team and you end up going down 0-2 and facing a reverse sweep, to make it out is actually a pretty big deal. So congrats to them. In similar regard as well to Alpine. Alpine ends up doing what they have problems with in the past. We drop down to the last lower round 3. It's Alpine versus Sonics. And they go 2-1. Another OT in game 1, and then a 1-0. Another 1-goal to game differential. If I haven't stated enough, today was insanity. All these matches were super close, down to the wire. Alpine ends up going up 2-0. And the issue with Alpine is they've had issues closing out series, and they end up getting reverse swept. This used to happen a lot in the past, but Mystic has really made his mark known by coming in and helping with the mentality of saying, like, yo, every single game is a new, fresh start. Keep that in mind. So they end up dropping games 3 and 4. And overtime to almost close it out in game 3, they lose to Sonics. In game 4, Sonics comes back with a very aggressive play style, and it works out. But then in game 5, 3-0 in favor of Alpine. They close it out. Cool, calm, collected. They move on. Congrats to them on that one. That's a tough match to bounce back against a high-flying Sonics that's looking great with T. Carell. But again, Sonics, you're looking at top 12 right now. That's pretty crazy. That's a big stand from where he used to be. We then get into round 4, and it just keeps getting crazier. We've got Energy versus version 1. And a lot of people would be like, yeah, Energy, easy, no problem. Energy didn't look that great against United, but boy, did they look ready to play in round 4 against version 1. Battle back and forth. Every other game traded. 1-goal game, 1-goal game, 1-goal game, 1-goal game, 1-goal game. Every single game coming down to one moment, and you can just pick out whatever you want in this series. A lot of chaos in front of the net. This is probably the most hype match because Energy, again, barely squeaks out a win in the end. Even though V1 does get the overtime in game number 1 at 3:34. They just trade wins. It was an absolutely phenomenal series. We were losing our voice. My voice is still pretty strained from today. But man, what an exciting day between Energy and V1. I don't want to spoil too much of this series, but yeah, battle both players. Justin have a really big performance. A lot of saves on defense. Torment absolutely clutch. There was one of the games in the series where he ends up having 10 saves in one game. Like this was a battle. It's absolutely exciting to watch a team that I support in version 1 finally starting to get some of the recognition and what they've been doing. The fact that they've only been together for like a week and a half is very exciting. Energy definitely did some things that are on the veteran status, like Squishy sticking around on offense to go for bumps and demos to open things up. But V1 finally recognizing there is space that is being given. You got to slow it down and move it upfield. So they continuously get better, and it's exciting to watch. Then jump down to the other series, and in Spaceman sweep style, if you guys don't watch the Rogue broadcast, don't know what this is, PK starts off and then give up 5 goals and get shut out in game number 1, and then they win 1-0, 1-0, and 1-0. Clean sweep again, another 21 minutes. 21 minutes of not allowing Alpine to score. The reason why I say 21 minutes in 3 games is because in game number 5, Alpine and PK had a 7-minute overtime, 6:55 to be exact. And to shut out Alpine's offense for 21 minutes is kind of absurd. So PK, resilient, really tough against on defense, and boy, do they know how to battle, but they move on into the loser quarterfinals. So looking at the lower bracket, we've got Ghost Gaming and Energy. Honestly, with the way Ghost is playing, they'll probably win. Who the heck knows? Maybe I just jinxed it. Knock on wood. We'll find out what happens. On the other side, you've got G2 versus Pittsburgh Knights. So 2 out of your top 4 in the lower quarters, and very unlikely that both will win based upon what I am seeing. I do think G2 has a nod over Pittsburgh Knights with their offense, but with Pittsburgh's defense, the way that it's been playing and how resilient they've been, pairing that with Sosa and doing what he's been doing, I mean, I'm a believer. Pittsburgh Knights looking really good. On the other side, you've got Energy and Ghost, like I mentioned. Energy, if they play like they did against V1, I think they'll take the victory. But Ghost still very competitive in their matches. I do think Ghost is a little bit outclassed here. We'll be interested to see. They've been playing upset all day, so exciting stuff from that. We then jump into the winners finals again. You got Rogue versus Envy. This is a good looking Envy team. Rogue just seems to be aggressive, and I think Envy will welcome that. I'm curious on how it'll punish. Atomic had a really big day yesterday. We'll see if that carries through, but some exciting stuff all together as we look at the final bracket. But as always, if you guys enjoy the content, thumbs up, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. Social media is all in the description down below. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know as well. If there's any videos you'd like me to make, power rankings probably coming next week. But with that said, that is going to do it for me today, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I am going to go get some sushi, and we'll see you for the broadcast tomorrow. Peace.